Hey, what's going on, guys? Back again with another one talking about health, wealth, happiness, success, getting money, getting rich, getting wealthy, getting in shape, all the good stuff in life. And in today's video, I want to go over a prerequisite to becoming rich that I don't think I hear too many people talking about today. And that is your ability to see through time. You must see through time to be able to get rich. And I don't know if people have this ability from jump, if it's something you're born with. I do believe I know a few ways that you can get there, at least to level it up a little bit. But you need to be able to see through time, right? Right now, everybody, or all of these, top companies, these top hedge funds, the banks don't like it too much, but everybody just keeps talking about this $1 million Bitcoin by 2030. Right now, it's June 2026, and Bitcoin's sitting around 70,000. And, all of these companies, these hedge funds, these investment firms are talking about $1 million Bitcoin by 2030. So that's, you can, 11, 12, 13x your money in the next 3-4 years. And a lot of people are like, I don't see it. I can't see it. And for some reason, so many people just cannot see the future. They don't get it until it goes there, right? So let's just say, 4 years goes by and it is 2030, 2031, and Bitcoin's at $1 million, 1.1, 1.2 million. And now they're like, oh, well, it looks like I missed it. And it's just like, well, why didn't you get in 4 years ago? Why didn't you get in 5 years ago? And it's because they lack the ability to see the future. It's crazy. I've tried to orange pill so many people around me, and they just can't get it. They just don't see it. I was having a conversation with my dad, trying to attack him from every angle when it comes to this Bitcoin thing, right? And he just won't get it. And I'm like, okay, what would make you get it? And he's like, well, when I see people using it in Walmart to buy groceries. And I'm like, by that time, Bitcoin's going to be a gajillion dollars. And people may be getting paid, or they may want to get paid in Bitcoin at that point. And I'm just like, you'll never get rich like that. If you cannot look out into the future and take action now for what you possibly believe is going to come in the future, you'll never get rich. It's crazy. And, the system is kind of designed like that on purpose, right? Because, humans, we have this. When humans are operating in survival mode, it's hard to pick your head up, right? When people are just trying to survive day to day, week to week, check to check, it's really hard to pick your head up and think about life 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years in the future. Again, an easy way that I kind of know how to do this, where you can just take a step back and think about the future, is, stack it up, 10K, $5,000, $10,000. It allows you to, have some energy or some room in your head to think about the future a little bit more than just what are we eating today, or hopefully what's my check looking like in 2 weeks. And but yeah, I really do believe in order to get rich, you're going to have to be able to look into the future. You're going to have to be able to be a psychic. You're going to be able to have to connect those dots and take action before, those opportunities come. That's like the only way you're going to be able to do it, especially if you're starting from the bottom. You weren't born into a wealthy family. You're going to have to look outside, see what everybody's doing. And, it also takes a little bit of going against the grain, right? If Bitcoin's going to $1 million, of course, the government isn't going to show you what they're doing behind the curtain. This current system is dying right now. This current fiat system, it is dying right now. Again, connecting those dots. Fiat has to be backed by a hard asset. It was backed by gold until 1971, and we came off the gold standard. And then the fiat started to teeter-totter until about 1976, and we reattached it to oil. And then we were running that petro oil dollar system. And now, with what's going on with Iran, they're now taking Bitcoin for oil. They're now taking yuan for oil. And so now that petrodollar system is starting to crack. It's going to have to be attached to something else. Now, people think it's going to get attached to Bitcoin. Of course, the government is never going to tell you what they're going to do. They're not going to show you what they're doing behind the curtain. But they're probably scraping and scrambling right now. They got to do something. But again, when it comes to getting rich, you're going to have to peer behind that curtain, or not peer behind the curtain. You have to see into the future. You got to connect the dots of what's going on outside right now and be able to make moves before it happens. You can't wait and then be like, oh, I should have bought Bitcoin, 5, 6, 7 years ago, or I should have did, whatever, taken that action a long time ago. You have to be able to see the future and take the action today. It's the only way you're going to get there. It's the only way you're going to build wealth. Seeing those opportunities before they happen and jumping in on them. It's funny, I have a big book on John D. Rockefeller, and the same thing with him. He saw where America was going before it went there. Now imagine him being like, you know what, I'm going to wait for this oil industry to fully develop before I start, getting into it myself, before I start developing the companies and the manufacturers and building the pipelines and getting into all of this oil and steel industry. And I'm going to wait till all of that stuff is built out, and then I guess maybe I'll get in. Instead of being the person, who's seen it, you have the foresight, to be able to see into the future, to be able to see where things are going and take action in the now in order to capitalize off of that. Oh man, what is this in the grass? But yeah, man, I don't know if it's something you're born with. I do know that when you're operating in survival mode, it is harder to do. And so the first thing that I would recommend is try to stack 5K, try to stack 10K. And then that allows you to take some time, sit in the grass, get by some water, and be able to think into the future, to be able to see where things are going, to be able to take action before it happens. Yeah, because waiting for it to happen and then taking action, imagine Bitcoin goes to 1 million. They're talking about 1 million by 2030. Well, what is Bitcoin by 2035, 2040? 4.6 million, 8.9, 11.7. And now you waited for it to do what it was going to do, and now you're like, oh man, I wish I would have got in earlier. Now I got to go work for Bitcoin. I don't want to get paid in this fiat thing that's constantly getting debased. Inflation is killing me. I can't afford a house. I can't afford a car. I can barely afford groceries. I want a relationship, but no woman will talk to me because, I don't have any money. I don't have any funds, because you couldn't see the future. You couldn't, plan and get to where you needed to go. Again, fiat is dying. It's kind of over for that. And if you can't see the future, if you can't pick your head up to look into the future, you'll never get rich. You'll never get wealthy. You'll never, get to that next level in life. If you can't technically kind of be a psychic and, see into the future, you have to be able to do it. You can't just wait for things to happen and then be like, all right, I guess I'll get in now. That's not how it's done. You got to be able to see an opportunity going to happen, even if it's years out, and take the action today. Get yourself in position today. And another thing when it comes to Bitcoin as well, some people maybe sit there and be like, you know what? I understand fiat is dying. I understand all of these hedge fund investors are saying it's going to go to $1 million, but what if it doesn't? What if it goes to zero? What if it doesn't become a thing? What if it just, goes completely kaput? Well, then we work until we die like everybody else. So what do you got to lose? You know what I'm saying? Like, at least when it comes to Bitcoin, right? It's like, that's how I kind of look at it. And I'm like, everybody is saying Bitcoin is going to be the thing. Okay, well, let me jump in now. I'm not going to wait for it to get there. But if it goes to zero, then we just work like everybody else. You got all these boomers and Gen Xers talking about, I'm going to have to work until I die. Okay, well, if Bitcoin works out, we're all successful. If it doesn't work out, then we just work until we die like everybody else. What do you got to lose? But again, when it comes to getting rich, when it comes to getting wealthy, you must be able to see into the future. I don't know if it's just something people are born with. Most people can't do it, but I believe the easiest way to try to, get into this ability of having this forethought, especially when it comes to money, is stack up 5 to 10K. It's crazy how many people don't even have like $1,000 saved up. But if you can stack 5 to 10K, you'll be able to pick your head up and be able to, take a second to start looking and planning for the future. You can see 1, 2, 3 years out if you have some money on you that you don't need to touch right away. But if you're always stuck in survival mode, you're never going to be able to do it. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and leave that one there for right now. Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.